My high school bully said I'd die alone and forgotten, so I married his father and became his stepmother. Tyler Morrison made my junior year hell. Every day, he'd corner me by my locker with his crew, calling me freak girl because I read during lunch instead of gossiping about boys. He'd knock my books out of my hands, trip me in the hallways, and make loud comments about my clothes whenever I walked past his table. The worst incident happened during homecoming week. I was sitting alone in the cafeteria trying to finish my chemistry homework when Tyler suddenly stood up on his chair. The entire room went quiet as he pointed directly at me. "Look at Sarah Chen over there," he announced loudly. "Eating lunch alone again, doing homework like the pathetic loser she is. I bet she's so weird that she'll probably die alone and forgotten in some cat-filled apartment someday." The entire cafeteria erupted in laughter. Even the teachers pretended not to hear. I felt my face burn with humiliation as 300 pairs of eyes stared at me. Some kids started making meowing sounds. Others whispered and pointed. I gathered my things and ran to the bathroom, where I stayed until the bell rang. That night, I went home and cried into my pillow until my eyes were swollen shut. But something shifted in me that day. Instead of breaking completely, I got angry, really angry. I started working out religiously, studying harder than ever, and planning my escape from that small-minded town where Tyler Morrison was considered cool. 10 years later, I was living in Chicago as a successful marketing director. I'd built a life Tyler could never imagine, traveling internationally for work, owning a downtown condo with city views, dating interesting people who appreciated my intelligence. I'd completely forgotten about him and his cruel prediction until I literally ran into his father at a coffee shop. David Morrison was nothing like his son. At 52, he was distinguished, kind, and genuinely interested in what I had to say. When my latte lid popped off and spilled all over his morning newspaper, he laughed warmly and offered to buy me another. "I'm David," he said, extending his hand with a genuine smile. "Sarah?" I replied, not making any connection yet. We talked for 2 hours about everything: books, travel, architecture, life philosophy. He was recently divorced, worked as an architect, and had this gentle way of listening that made me feel truly heard. When he asked for my number, I gave it without any hesitation. Our first date was dinner at a quiet Italian place downtown. David was fascinating, well-traveled, emotionally intelligent, funny in a dry way that reminded me of my favorite professors. Everything his son wasn't. "I have to ask," I said over dessert. "Do you have children?" His face darkened slightly. "One son. We're not particularly close. He struggled with some personal issues over the years." I nodded sympathetically, still completely unaware of the connection. 6 months later, David proposed with a vintage Art Deco ring that was exactly what I would have chosen for myself. I said yes immediately, feeling like the luckiest woman alive. We planned a small ceremony at his house, a beautiful Victorian he'd restored himself with incredible attention to detail. The morning of our wedding, as I was getting ready in his antique mirror, David casually mentioned his son might stop by. "Tyler's been asking to meet you," he said, adjusting his tie. I thought today might be the perfect opportunity. My blood turned to ice water. I couldn't fit what happens next in this short video. Watch the rest down below.